So I'm back. So I wanted to make this video talking about older men dating younger women. And thanks to social media and the internet, everybody has a voice now. Like everybody has something to say. So this been a big topic I've been seeing for a while now, like on Instagram and different videos of women saying that older men dating younger women is perverted and that they only date younger women just to groom them and because they don't know no better. And I even heard men say it because it's only two groups of people that really says this. It's either A, older women, or B, younger men. Like them the only ones that's complaining and saying something about this. And I'm gonna break down why they saying this and their reasons for saying this. But matter of fact, I'm gonna say this now and get it out the way. Older women who saying this, a lot of people already know what I'm about to say, is that y'all bitter. A lot of older women are just bitter because the men in their age range is dating younger. It's a lot of women who got divorced and got left for a younger woman. Like we know that's what's been going on, and that's where a lot of this come from. Not all, but I guarantee 90 to 95% of the older women that brings up, oh, he grooming her and it's wrong and saying all of this. I guarantee that they saying this secretly because they mad that all of the older men in their age group and the men that they want don't want them. I guarantee that's a big part of it. They mad because younger women is taking their men and that men in their age group don't want them. So they basically, like Kevin Samuels and a lot of people said, is that you didn't hit the wall and your options is limited and your chances of getting married dwindle and your options is harder once you get over 35, really, especially in your 40s and 50s, because a man in his 40s is at his peak. 40s, 50s is at his peak, and then women is at their downward. Now, I know some women gonna get offended by saying this, but I'm gonna break down why I'm saying this. Everything I'm saying, like I said, this is gonna be in depth. So just give me a minute and I'm gonna break it down for you. Now, for the men, just to get this out the way, the reason why younger men say this is the same reason why older women say it, because they bitter and they mad that they can't compete with older men for the most part. We know that that's where it's coming from. And I was a younger dude. I'm only in my early 30s. I'm only 33. So I'm not no 40, 50-year-old man coming from this standpoint. I'm in my early 30s saying that. So I guess it wouldn't be that bad if I'm dating like a 22, 23-year-old. But then some people would say that that's bad, I guess, because that's what I don't understand also is that how old is too old? Like, how do you define, okay, is 10 years too much? Is it 20 years? Is it a 20 and 40-year-old? Or is it a 21-year-old and a 50-year-old? Like, who makes the guidelines of what's too old and what's okay? Can it only be a 5-year difference? Can it only be a 6-year difference? Like, who was making this up? But anyway, for the younger dudes, and which I get it too, which all younger dudes have been through this. I'm somebody who my high school girlfriend was dealing with and ended up cheating with I don't know, she claims she didn't cheat with him, but he was taking her home from school. So it is what it is. But it was a 28-year-old dude that was coming up to the high school and picking up the younger girls and the 16, 17-year-olds. And he had the advantage because he had a car. Most people in high school don't have a car. So, he was up there picking them up and doing all of that type of stuff. Now, in that case, yes, it's a problem because obviously that's underage. Actually, that's actually illegal. Like, and that can be more so predatory when you're doing that, like a 28, 25-year-old and a 16, 17-year-old, then yeah, I can understand it from that standpoint. But I say that to say that I'm somebody who fell victim to that, and I knew it was because, like, dang, because I don't have a car, and this older dude got a car, so he got the advantage of me, and that's how a lot of younger dudes feel because they not financially ready, and immature. A lot of younger dudes is, and of course, older men gonna be much more mature, and they gonna know how to deal with women better because they got experience. So it all makes sense to why younger dudes would be kind of bitter, worried about older dudes taking their girl because they more financially stable and they more mature and they know how to handle women. So, it's both coming from a place of bitterness. And I want to say this too, majority of the time, but I want to say this too, is that it's funny that killed a lot of this arguments is that the older women who say this, most of them dated an older man. Every woman, every female that I done met, then dated an older guy. I have not met not one female who said that they didn't date an older guy. Now, like I said, that's whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever. Every female I then talked to then dated an older guy. So it's funny that older women want to bash younger women and older men for dating younger women when that's what you was doing when you was younger. So that's why I said most of the time it's coming from a place of bitterness, because when you was younger, you wasn't saying that when you was dating an older guy, but now that you older, you want to say that there's something wrong with it. Like, come on now. And then a lot of them like to say, well, I was young and dumb. I didn't know what I was doing and I was stupid. Like, yeah, that's just your excuse and you trying to justify. Like, majority of the time, like I said, I don't care what you're saying. You're saying it because you mad that younger women is taking all the men and taking the men that's at their peak financially and stuff like that, which I'm going to get into. Then as far as younger dudes, it's the same thing, because you got to realize when you get older and you financially stable, you're going to be able to get younger women to play the game the same way. It's just how the game goes, which I'm going to get into in the reasoning why older men date younger women and younger women date older men. And I'm even going to get into older women dating younger dudes too. So this been going on, like I said, since the beginning of time. And it's common sense. It's biology and it's common sense of why older men date younger women. Like it's simple. It don't have nothing to do with grooming. Yes, some cases could be grooming, and in rare cases it could be some weirdo dudes or something like that that's trying to prey on younger women. But for the most part, it's not that. It's all of the stuff I'm about to name. So, which I kind of already hinted at. First off, we have to look at what women look for in men and what men look for in women. It's that simple. We know that women look for men for being providers and protectors, right? That's common sense. That's what's been said since the beginning of time. Women want a provider and a protector, and they want somebody who, a lot of women want a man that's mature, and know how to deal with handle with women. That's why we always say is that when women say that they don't want to do who dealt with a lot of women, that's a lie, because women want a man that knows how to, that's good in bed, that got experience, and that knows how to communicate and handle women. And you can't get that unless you dealt with a lot of women. So that's just, one way, and which I'm gonna get into also, is how women say one thing and do another. And women, y'all always contradicting yourself. It's just crazy to me. But yeah, so women value um stability. You can just call it that also. Stability, protection, provider, whatever you want to call it. That's what most women seek in a man. What most men seek in women is beauty, utility, youth, and fertility, being able to have kids. So knowing that, and submissiveness and all of that type of stuff. So we know that that's the main things that women look for in men and men look for in women. So let's look at it. If you're a woman and you value stability and provision and protection, which group of men has that the most? Older men. Older men, 9 times out of 10, is going to be more stable than the younger dude. He gonna be more mature than the younger dude. He gonna be, yeah, I just said mature, right? But he gonna be more stable, mature, and have more money 9 times out of 10 than a younger dude. And so it makes sense that a younger woman would want an older dude, because the older dude gonna have what she wants in the man versus a younger dude. Most younger dudes don't have their life together unless they in the NBA or you know, lucked up on some money or something like that, most dudes still gonna be struggling, figuring themselves out, hopping from job to job in school. They not gonna be steady and they not gonna be mature for the most part because of a dude have gotta learn and he gotta deal with women to know women. All us men know that early in our life, in our first couple of relationships, we all made mistakes because we just didn't understand women unless you had like somebody to school you on the game. But even then, you got to still learn for yourself, trial and error. So now that we got that out the way, which is common sense, is that why younger women date older men because they got what women are looking for more so than younger dudes. And then the same for older men dating younger women. Which women, like I said, we value beauty. Who looks better, women in their 20s or women in their 40s on average, or 50s or whatever? Women in their 20s, like it just is what it is. Women look better in their 20s. And we only talking about 20s because I hate when people say that dumb stuff. So usually younger women look better than older women. It just is what it is. Yes, there is some older women who still look good, but 9 times out of 10, I guarantee you, she looked even better when she was in her 20s. Like it just is what it is. So if men value beauty and looks, it makes sense that we will value younger women. Oh, and also, like I said, because the video cut out for a minute. I hate when people like we always talking about people that's legal and above age. Like women like to say dumb stuff like, "Oh, that's pedophilia," and you being a pep. Like that's only if the person is underage. Like stop. Like I hate when like stop saying dumb stuff. Like if a 21, 22-year-old woman is grown, she can drink, she can choose to do what she want to do. Like she's grown, and that's all we talking about here. I'm not talking about no younger 15, 16, 17-year-old women. Like, let's get this dumb stuff out the way. I'm really starting at 20, which some dudes even say 18, 19, which is legal. But for me personally, um, I try to stay at least like 21 and up. Like at least be able to drink so I can drink with you or some stuff, you know, or something. But you know, I have dated a 20-year-old. I think the youngest girl I dated was probably 20, and I was probably like 28. I was probably like 27, 28, and she was 20. So, but now, like most of the time, I try to date women that's at least 21 and up. So let's kill all of that. I should have said that in the beginning for all the dumb women. Like, you know, I just hate when people say dumb stuff. Like, ain't nobody talking about no minors. Like, stop with this dumb shit. But anyway, now that we got that out the way. So when we talking about 21 and up, usually they gonna look better than a 40, 50-year-old. It just is what it is. And then second, we value fertility. Everybody knows, and women can't deny this, the older that you get, the harder it is to have kids. Like everybody know this. Like I think it's once you hit 35 or so, it gets harder to have kids, and then you become more of a high risk birth. Yes, you can have kids when you older than 35. Like I think Ashanti about to have her first kid. I think Beyonce was over 35, if I'm not mistaken. Like, yes, it can happen, but then also, I think Beyonce ended up having a surrogate. It was rumors that she had surrogate with Blue Ivy, her first kid, but I know for sure, I think they said that she had a surrogate with her other children that she had. I'm almost positive then, like Kim Kardashian had a surrogate, like, but anyway, but yeah, it's possible, but we know that it becomes harder the older that you get. So if I'm a man and I still do want kids or thinking about having kids, it's going to be harder with an older woman. So it makes sense for me to get a younger woman if I want to still have kids. And now, if you don't want kids, then you can X that out. But then it still goes to men value beauty and looks above all, which we shouldn't if you're looking for a partner. But no, looks have to be on one of the top of the list, even though it's not the end all be all, because you got to look at a woman's character. Because going for a woman for her looks, we know will bite you in the ass, and you can end up getting with somebody who look good on the outside but messed up in the inside. So of course we can't go by looks, but that's always going to be in the top three most important things to men. Just like being a provider or being stable gonna always be in the top three things for women. It just is what it is. And then lastly, when it comes to being more feminine and being more submissive, which women try to look at as a bad thing, which is dumb. Why would a man want, he didn't work his ass off and he at his prime? Why would he want a woman who talk back, who's stuck in her ways, who don't listen to nothing you gotta say, who always talking back? Like, who then already then been through everything. Like, why would you want that? Why would you want to deal with that as a man who you got your life established already? Like, you want somebody to come in, like a man is supposed to be a leader, especially if you a man that's a leader. Why would you want a woman who gonna push back and not, be as submissive? It doesn't make sense. So getting even more deeper into in depth to why older men date younger women is that it's just as simple as older women, it just is what it, y'all have more baggage. It just it is what it is. Like older women, like the older women, older that you is, like if we talk about a woman over 35, majority of women, like 80% of women gonna have kids already, probably multiple kids by then. So why the hell do, like, in most, we already know in these spaces, which women already know what I'm about to say, it's been big on the internet, big in the red pill, big in the manosphere. Like, men been saying this so much lately over the past couple years, is that most men don't want to be stepdads. Most men don't want to deal with women who have kids. It just is what it is. That's just what a lot of men don't want. And if you're dealing with an older woman, she's going to have kids, not just one. 9 times out of 10, she's going to have 2, 3 kids. Like, and most men don't want to deal with that. And then I know women gonna say, "What if you got kids too?" I didn't already made a video about this, which I might put at the end, breaking this down of why it's not the same. Like a single father, and I hate when people say this, like a man with kids and a woman with kids is not the same 9 times out of 10, because 9 times out of 10, the woman has primary custody and majority custody. And that's the biggest difference, because the kid is going to be with you and live with you majority of the time. As a father, you only going to have the kid, if you lucky, every other weekend, and maybe over the summer if you lucky. So it's not the same, because if I'm a man, as a stepdad, you gonna have to deal with that kid more than a stepmom is. Like if you a stepdad and you dealing with a woman, you gonna have to interact with them kids. If y'all move in together, them kids is gonna live, her kids is gonna live with you and be with you majority of the time. And 9 times out of 10, like we always say, the man is the man, so he gonna have to take on the financial burden. Women like to say, "Oh no, a man don't have to do for my kids," but yes, he is. Ain't no woman about to be dealing with a man and having a man laying up and sleeping with her, and he don't buy your kids nothing for Christmas, don't buy your kids lunch. Like, no woman gonna deal with that, and you actually shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't have a dude living with you and y'all together, or maybe even married, and he don't do nothing for your kids. That's crazy. So, but as a man, it's like I said, the man has to take on more. A single mother, you can deal with a dude who has kids and never see the kids for the most part, because he can rarely have them unless he's a single father. But like I said, majority of the time, it's not going to be a single father. It's going to be a dude who either has joint custody like every other weekend, or a dude who might, it's a lot of dudes who don't even really even get to see their kids. It's a lot of dudes who got a better baby mama, or maybe he ain't shit dude and don't even see his kids. So that's why I always say I hate when women try to compare dudes who have kids to women who have kids. It's not the same, because men don't have the kid primary custody like women do. And a dude gonna have, a stepdad gonna have to take on more than a stepmom is. It just is what it is. So now that I got that out the way, yeah, so like, an older woman gonna already have kids, and then 9 times out of 10, she's not gonna want to have no more kids because she older and she already didn't have kids. So if you a dude and you want to have kids still, it's not going to work out. Like, y'all not going to be able to have kids. She's probably not going to want to have kids no more because she's 35, 40 or older. So it just doesn't make sense. And then, like I said too, is that most men just don't want to play stepdad and deal with that baggage, deal with the baby daddy, and just deal with all of that baggage. Women just don't understand is that women value experience and men value inexperience when it comes to most things. Don't no man want a woman who then did everything already. a man likes to be the first to introduce a woman into something. And what's funny is that Drake actually got a song called Brand New off his So Far Gone mixtape, which a lot of people might know because we know how big Drake is. Most people might have heard that mixtape, but I'm not the biggest Drake fan, but that's one of my favorite songs by him because it's the truth. It literally breaks down how men be feeling. And then the song keep talking about how he met a girl and everything and nothing he's doing with her is brand new. She done did everything before with her ex. And that's literally how men think. Like, what man wants to have a girlfriend or wife like that then did everything? Then, you can't take her nowhere. She already been to this country, this state, this place. She done been to this restaurant. She done did everything sexually. Like, she done already ate ass and did this and did all of that type of stuff. Like, like there's nothing new for you to do with her. Like she done already did everything with everybody else. So, like no man really wants that. Like most men wants to be the first one to do something with that girl, like the first one to get her a nice gift or get her this. Like, how fun is it if you everything you do for your girl, like let's say, because I didn't have this happen before, and like it's just like a bad feeling. Like, let's say you want to take a girl on a trip and she like already been there, or you want to take a girl to a restaurant or do something, she's like, I already did that, and I already did that. Like, that's how it really is when it comes to dating a woman that's older. Like she older, she done already did everything. So it's like, why would I, like that's just something that men don't want, especially for a wife or a girlfriend. Now, if it's just somebody you dating, you don't care. But of course, we talking about something being serious with somebody and being in a relationship with somebody. Like that's what we talking about. Like why the like don't know, like don't know man want that. Like, and then I just give you a reminder of all of the dudes that you've been with before, before the man. Like it's not just cool. Cause what dude could then another thing is that this can be with men and women, but this especially goes for men, is that what man wants to be with somebody who been with everybody, and then you wiping up somebody like, like, and that's what I'm big on, and that's why I go, it's a big saying also of the don't turn the hoe into a housewife and all of this stuff. And like, all of this stuff I'm saying is that how men feel, women just don't want to hear it. And it goes the same way. Like, why would I want to marry you when you didn't had 10 exes and all of these other dudes and none of them wanted to marry you? Now, your baby father it didn't work with him. He didn't stay, or y'all couldn't work out, or you chose bad or whatever like that. Like men, like, well, smart men, like we think about that type of stuff. Like, you 35, 40, you can make it work with no man before me. Like, why would I, like, why would I want you? Like, it just, is what it is. Like, it's just something that men don't want. Like, men don't want to be the 20th guy in line. Like, a man don't want to be with a woman who did everything already. There's nothing to look forward to. Literally, like it's just nothing to look forward to. So that's another big reason also, like you have to accept this, the baggage, the emotional baggage from being through past relationships. And I don't care what you say. If you done been in numerous relationships, or you done had a divorce, or you done broke up with your child's father, it's like you gonna have some trauma there. And most people we know don't heal from their trauma. Most people don't take accountability, especially for women. And that's the biggest thing for women, is that y'all don't take accountability. It's always the man fault. Every time you ask the female, oh, my child father, he was a cheater, or this dude was this, and like, you rarely ever hear a woman say, what's their problem? So, 35, 40-year-old woman, you done been in all these relationships and all of this, and then you were just perfect and just kept picking the wrong dude. So, and even if you go by that, you keep picking the wrong dude, what makes you think that you're gonna get it right with me? Obviously, you got a bad track record. So that just goes without saying, which women don't understand. And then women just don't understand. It's just crazy. And that's why I try not to argue with women. And this is why, The marriage rate is down, relationships is down. This is why, sorry to say, a lot of y'all single mothers, a lot of y'all can't keep a man because y'all just don't want to accept reality and accept what men are saying and accept the facts of what men want, especially if you want a good man. And this is what women don't understand. Like we already know, every woman says she wants this six-figure man, this tall man, this good man, like all of this stuff, all of this quality man, when y'all know most of y'all don't deserve that. Like, why would a man that's at the top, that got his stuff going together, got his money right, 6 feet, look good and got options, why would he want you? Like, what are you bringing? That, like, are you bringing to somebody else kids, somebody else, bringing baggage to the relationship? And then it's just common sense with a younger woman, she's going to have less baggage, even if she might have a kid, or even if she might been in a relationship. On average, it's just common sense. 9 times out of 10, a 35, 40, 50-year-old woman going to been in twice as many relationships as a 21, 25-year-old. The only way that is different is, let's say that it's somebody, like I said, a woman who got married in her 20s and, was with her husband for 10, 15 years and then they got a divorce. That's the only exception to the rule. But then even in that case, that's a rare case because most women, especially nowadays, ain't been married for no 10, 15 years straight, and then married their high school sweetheart. We know that that's rare. But even in that case that you do this, that if you divorced your husband, it's a lot behind that. We got to get into the trauma, like, especially if y'all was married and have kids, like, that's your imprint. And then why, like, why it didn't work out and stuff like that. And then, like I said, women always gonna say blame the man for it, which is dumb. Like, you never hear a woman say what they did wrong. It's just always the man for it, which is BS. So you can't get mad at men and say, oh, they're trying to groom, or oh, they don't want to, like they want, like they preying on younger women and stuff like that, when that don't have nothing to do with it. Majority of the time, like I said, there probably is weirdos out there, but they don't usually dudes who go for underage girls like a R. Kelly or something. Because, like, that's what I'm getting to too, is that you're not telling me that you can, a 21, 25-year-old can be easily manipulated, and she just so dumb and just don't know what's going on, don't know what she like, come on now, like, we done been 21 before. I'd have been 25. Like, it's not no woman that out there, like, I wasn't like, of course, as you get older, you mature and you know more what you want and you able to peep red flags or certain stuff like that. But you're not a fucking dummy when you in your 20s, like women trying to make it seem like, oh, like, like it's a 15-year-old or something that just don't know nothing about relationships or just don't know nothing about life. Like, come on now. And then also, lastly, like, people gotta, it's crazy that how women support the LGBT community and report same-sex people, whether same-sex getting together, but have a problem with an older man and a younger woman that's been going on since the beginning of time, and that's a heterosexual relationship. Like, that just crazy to me. So it's okay. So it's less. So it's weird for a man to be with a woman, and for there to be an age gap. But it's not weird for a man being with a man or a woman being with a woman, when literally that's going against biology and the reason why we here. When it takes a man and a woman to have a child, but we done made that okay, and like, that's acceptable to women because it's mainly women that support the LBGT. It is what it is. I don't got nothing against them. I'm just making my point and just, saying what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy to believe that it's more acceptable for two men to date than there is for an older man and a younger woman. Like, that just don't make sense at all. Like, literally don't make sense. So people need to make up their mind on, can you date who you want to date, or is it stipulations on who you can date? And like I didn't already said, we all talking about people who legal. So, like I said, for me, 21 and up. So get on with that grooming and that paraphernalia and all of that stuff. And like somebody else said, is that you can go to war at 18, you can move out your parents' house, you can get a job, you can do what you want to do, especially at 21. You can drink, smoke, do drugs, whatever. But you can't choose. You so dumb you don't know who to date. That doesn't make sense to me. And then women like to say that they mature faster than men. So just going about when I was 21, 22, I wasn't about to date somebody that I didn't want to date. It doesn't even make sense. Like I knew right from wrong. I knew who I liked and didn't like. I knew like, like I knew stuff. Like it just doesn't make sense. And then people like to say, what do you have in common? Lastly, because this is another thing that people like to say is that, oh, what do you have in common with a younger woman and y'all don't have nothing to talk about and y'all don't have nothing in common? Most of the time, men and women, regardless of the age, don't have shit in common. Like, this is what y'all don't get. Like, the only thing that most majority of men and women have in common is sex and fucking, especially in this day and age. But not only that is that, like, that's not exclusive to age. Like, most men like sports. Most women don't like sports, regardless of the age. Like, most men like, a lot of men like playing video games. Majority of women don't like playing video games. Like, regardless, like that just a man and woman, they don't have nothing to do with age. Just because we the same age don't mean that we gonna like the same stuff. Maybe a music, like maybe because we from the same era, we might like the same type of music, but that's not even a guarantee. There ain't no guarantee that we gonna like the same shows. Like people act like stuff exclusive to age and stuff like that. Like and a lot of the stuff, like I said, is dependent on a person. Cause you can have somebody, you can date it's women in their 40s, 50s that's more immature than women who in their 20s. There's women in their 20s who mature than some women that's in their 30s and 40s. Like it really just depends on the person. Like, so that's dumb also. Like all of it is really BS. Um so yeah, so that's my in-depth reason and breaking down why older men date younger women. It's never gonna change. It's been going on since the beginning of time. Um, like it's just the way that it is, and it just comes down to biology and what men like in women and what women like in men. Like I already broke down, it's really that simple. And like I said, y'all can admit it or not. Like if you're an older woman, you 9 times out of 10, I guarantee some of this is coming from bitterness that dudes your age that's finally financially stable and got it going on, looking past you for the younger woman. And younger dudes, you probably mad because the older dude took your bitch, but you gotta understand that it's just a part of the game. You gonna be older one day, and hopefully, if you live right, you gonna be stable, and then you gonna be able to get to 25, 26, or however old want women in their prime. It's just how the game goes. And then also, there still is a lot of people who do date they age like there's no absolute in everything. Like it just the way that shit goes, for the most part. But like I said, it's funny that people more okay with people dating that with men dating men and women dating women, which I'm not even gonna get into because we know that that's a whole nother subject that a lot of people not gonna like, and oh, I'm gonna get called homophobe and all of that type of stuff, which I'm not, but it is what it is, but it's crazy that that's more accepted. It's more accepted for a man to date a man than there is for an older man to date a younger woman, which been going on since the beginning of time. Like that just weird and crazy to me. But that's my opinion on it and my breakdown of it. So feel the way that y'all want to feel. Like I said, it's not gonna stop. Like I said, I prefer 21 and older. You can go for 18, it's legal. But like I said, in that case, it can be a little dicey dealing with a girl fresh out of high school. And you for like stuff like that, I can understand what y'all are talking about. Like a 40, 50-year-old dating an 18, 19-year-old. Like, yeah, that is kind of like a big gap. Like that kind of don't go together. But when you talking about like 21 and up, like I mean, and then especially if you're talking about like 25, 26, and something like that, like you know what the fuck going on. Like, come on now, like kill all of this noise. Y'all just don't want to see men win. Simple as that.